All right, today we're going to work on dragging a log. This is something that's just kind of a fun way to test your skills and see what you got going on. It'll tell you how centered your mule is or not. But you see this, I call it a log. It's more like a stick right here, but it's very lightweight. I can pull this around just with my hand. I don't have to dally. Because I know some of you watching may not have saddle horns, so that's okay. But it's also a good way to practice dallying, and I'll kind of show you that. So when I'm first introducing a mule to dragging something like this, I might even start just dragging the rope around without it hooked to the log. I might just drag that rope around. If you go back to our colt starting stuff, I mean, we're getting these mules used to ropes right from the beginning. So it doesn't hurt to just drag that rope around for a little bit. Once you've kind of checked that off, and they can, you can handle these ropes around them and get it up around her here, and like if you go back to the fence work video, desensitizing from the fence, we threw the ropes off these mules. Anyways, that's your first step. Once that's going good, then you can start doing these things. And I might just start off with keeping slack in this rope, and I might just ride around the log like this and just kind of let this rope follow me. So it's really non-dramatic, keep it pretty simple. If your mule was scared of just the stick sitting there, well, then you might just spend some time even without your rope, just get him to where maybe you could just step over that stick or step over that log, and it wouldn't be any type of big deal for you. Once you have that going, there's two ways to start this. I like to kind of start from the inside like this, where you just kind of just move that log just a little bit and then make your circle. Move the log just a little bit, make your circle. Move it just a little bit, and you see, I can just do this with my hand. It's not so heavy that I couldn't. So I'd start with something like this, and then you could go heavier, of course. But just something like this so you can kind of move that log, because some of your mules, I've seen plenty in the clinics and stuff where we do this often in like the Mulemanship 1 class or Mulemanship 2, and they'll be scared to death of that log moving, So you might start just by doing something like that. Then what I'll do is I'll practice rolling the hinds away from the log, and I'll stop, and I'll back her up and let it kind of come to me. And here you can use both hands. It's light enough that I could use both hands to ask this mule to back up if your mule was having a hard time backing up and you couldn't just do it one-handed. So that's what's nice about having it light. But you could do that a few times. And once that's kind of checked off, then you can drag it a little bit more like this, and you start to get a little bit bigger circle. And so you're gonna be making a real big circle here, and your mule's making your log's making a little short circle right there. And you just play around like this. Anytime you need to, you could just roll the hinds away from you and back up if they got real troubled. Roll those hinds away, face up like this. You can even get your hand down here, roll the hinds if you need to, back her up. You can do that every time they get kind of troubled, and then you could go again. Of course, she's not troubled, she don't care about this. And then once it's going pretty good, you might practice taking a few dallies. You just go around once, maybe once and a half, and you can practice your dallies if you'd like, or you could just hold it and drag it. Depends on what you want to practice. You want to practice riding one-handed, I'd recommend you practice dallying. Okay, and then once you start checking it off on your inside, then you start going to the outside like this. You see how that rope comes across her back right leg, puts a little pressure there, and she'll feel that. Some of your mules might be worried, so you make maybe just a little half circle like this, and then you go back to the right again. And you get it going good here. And then maybe you say, okay, well, that's looking good. She's feeling fine. I'll go back here to the left. Let it go across the mule's butt a little bit. And that's fine. And before you know it, you can just be out here riding figure eights. Maybe I'll make a right here. Inside circle. All the way around. And shouldn't be no big deal. You can practice getting this log closer. You practice getting it further out. You can do whatever you like. But maybe I'll come around here, make a left. Just make little figure eights like I said. Anyways, that's how I'd kind of go about it. But don't be shy if your mule's a little scared of it to spend some time doing those previous steps that I just said. You know, you could just do these inside turns for a long time until this just checks off. And you could do that for a half hour, just going like this. No big deal. But don't be surprised if they're a little bothered by some of these things. But also, if you've got your checklist going on good and you've got good control of them laterally, this really shouldn't be a big deal. So that's your challenge for this week. Let's go find you a stick or log or something and get dragging it. All right, thanks for watching.